Oh. Hello, welcome. So this year for Halloween, I decided to be Venti. But since I had to go to school on Tuesday, I decided to only make his hat. And also due to school. I am unfortunately a broke college student. But I did go to Goodwill and I found a t-shirt that was a very similar green to Venti's hat. So that's what I will be making the main part of the hat out of.
Oof. The shirt says Coffee Garden Wine Repeat.
So you see this green beret with the purple flower on my desk? I actually made that beret using a pattern that I also made for a previous class. But I tried looking for the pattern. I sketched out, but I just couldn't find it. So I also had this bear beret that you see on my head right now. That in my opinion was a better shape compared to the one I made because it was slightly bigger in circumference. So I don't own a pair of seam rippers or thread cutters. So I am using my X-Acto knife, which, I mean, it works. It doesn't work as well as thread cutters, but I personally would not recommend it to anyone. So the X-Acto knife got a little too tedious and slow for me. So I just gave up and just started cutting along the seams. So I finally got to a point where I had large sheets of the t-shirt that I can lay flat. And so as you can see here, I'm laying the sheet flat and I'm just tracing the shape of my existing hat onto the fabric. So yes, I have made a beret before, but I also don't know what I'm doing, like at all. And so half of the footage I have of me at the beginning of making this hat is just me quote unquote researching because I really have no idea what I'm doing. Like here I'm literally staring at his hat. calculating with my negative brain cells. But eventually, I did kind of figure out what I was doing, and so I just started cutting out pieces out of my fabric. So I ended up cutting 2 pieces of the top of the beret, and so here I'm cutting out the bottom, like the part where you put your head in, I guess. So this part I really had no clue what I was doing, and I was just measuring the opening of my existing hat, which did not work out in the end, but you will see that later.
What's up, cousin?
Hi.
And here I present you cousin time.
Look at my hat.
Oh, slay. Oh, you've already made the outline? Or like the block of it?
This was a pre-made hat, cousin. I didn't make this one.
Oh, slay.
This is the Venti hat, the top of it.
Oh, slay. Wow.
I also might have to bring this to school to make it because there's something going on with my sewing machine. Are you gonna play Genshin?
I probably will. I just finished folding clothes.
Nice! You play Genshin while I make Venti's hat.
Oh, slay. I'll save up maybe for Venti. No, I'm still on the fence on whether or not I actually want to get him.
Well, I mean, you can just try him and see.
Yeah. Because I kind of want Nahid here.
I also want the wolf dude.
Oh, Risley?
Risley? Is that how you say his name?
We do be 2 kids struggling to speak, but to give context to the next part, we're debating whether or not we should pull for Dory or not.
Mm-hmm. She's an Electro 4-star.
She's an Electro character?
Yeah.
Cousin, I debated on being Dory for Halloween because she's scamming people. She's scary.
She do be.
So for the next few minutes, me and my cousin are discussing a book, so there is absolutely nothing to do with Venti's hat. So if you want to skip, you can skip to 12:42.
Ah, I see. The gay man with instinct,
No,
the desire.
cousin, you don't understand. This is a good series. I will say, there's a lot of trigger warnings in this book.
Oh, yeah. You told me it was like kind of problematic, right?
Oh, this dude real problematic.
I see.
No, but see the other dude, me for real, for real.
Identifies with him.
Yeah.
Slay cousin.
Look at the cover. It's so pretty.
That is really pretty, yeah. Slay cousin.
It's real problematic though.
How so, cousin?
So Would you like me to read you from the first book?
I see. Sure, cousin.
Reading
Do
with
reference.
cousin number 2. Wait, let me get my mic. I need to get my mic closer to me.
I see. Truly storytelling.
Oh. Okay. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Cousin number 1 really be missing out right now.
She really booby.
I forgot this is how the entire series started.
Flabbergasted.
The Husky and his White Cat, Shizun. Chapter 1. This is vulnerable one. Before Moran became an emperor, people were always calling him a dog. The villagers called him a damn mutt. His cousin called him a stupid dog. And the woman that took him in outdid him all. I don't know how to pronounce this word, so we skip this word. As he did so, the puppy grew old and became a big dog. The big dog became an old dog, and eventually, the old dog became a dead dog.
I see.
Cousin, that's literally the sentence written in the book.
So if you watched the chaos of me explaining this book to my cousin did leave me for a while, and so I just decided to continue cutting out pieces for Venti's hat.
Oh, man's back.
Hey, I'm back.
So to give context for the next statement, my cousin says, here I was no longer explaining the husky and his white cat Shizun. I was explaining remnants of filth.
So left because Tyrant came now in demonic cult sect, or
Yes. Honestly, cousin, I would recommend this book.
that sounds like a really interesting book, yeah.
The plot is really intricate.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Anywho.
I continued making my Venti thing.
So here I'm still cutting out pieces for the bottom of the beret. So as you can see from this video, like the circle on the inside of the beret looks really big. And that's because it is really big, and it brought a lot of problems up in the future. So if you want to make this hat, don't do what I did.
I don't think
Just
so.
small, quick dance.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
please don't let me die.
I have the parts for Venti's hat cut out.
Oh, slay, cousin. Oh my god. Yao Yao's little fucking rabbit thing is saving my ass.
We love Yao Yao for that.
We really do. I would have been dead by now. Slay, cousin.
Food. Cousin, what if Kelly and Grace give me a segment where I talk about my gay men books?
On a weekly basis.
Oh yeah, cousin, this tea? 10/10 recommend.
Oh. Passion fruit? Passion fruit?
Gremlin recommendations.
Oh,
I-
cousin.
I finished this yesterday.
I will go give that a try, cousin. Is it from Trader Joe's?
Oh, I got it from Target.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't go to Target, so
Yeah. I don't know where else you can buy it. So, cousin, I bought both of these yesterday. I finished this
Where am I?
yesterday. I bought it yesterday and I finished one yesterday. Within
I
the
see.
span of 3 hours.
I am not sponsored at all.
I see.
Terrible. Leftovers.
Oh, what is that, cousin?
Nice. Bibimbap. And so I was like, if I put the part 1 Zhongli video up, and then I put Venti's, and then part 2. Venti's video just randomly there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got bored in between editing the second part.
I needed to look at something different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cousin, it kind of works because Venti was being a nuisance and disturbed Zhongli's quality time, precious time.
Ah.
Anywho, so after food break, you don't see me do this, but I cut up a dress that someone gave me that was too big for me. And so I used the white fabric for the little floral trim around his hat. Now, though, thinking back on it, I could have just cut a circle out of the white fabric and then just cut the green part and sewed the green part onto the white part. But I clearly wasn't thinking that far. So, this is what we have.
Cousin, I have the song stuck in my head. This is not good.
I see. Today, actually.
It's not Slay.
So here I'm trying to make a pattern for the little white frilly things. I'm just gonna call them frilly things. But this was probably the hardest part of making that hat because I didn't account for a lot of things, actually. But I didn't account for how they would fit together, like side by side, to create a circle around the top part. So if anyone wants to make this hat, I would recommend finding a pattern online that actually works.
Huh?
If I switch it to this, then the attack increases a lot. Okay.
I'll keep this. Ooh, Venti has a little gold band. Do you think I can get away making that out of foam?
Maybe. Actually, yeah. I can see you.
I think I would have to put the hat together. Because on Venti's hat, it's not like a perfect circle. Because he like pulls like the back of it up front.
Mm-hmm.
Venti, why you gotta be so complicated? Do I make it just perfect circles because I am lazy?
Whatever you feel like, cousin. It is your design.
I have to make his flower.
So for Venti's flower, all I'm doing is just cutting out each individual petal out of foam. So in total, Venti has 6 petals, and there's just 3 big ones and then 3 tiny ones. And then I also cut out the leaf pieces out of foam, and I just painted them and curled them. I will say curling them took a few brain cells, because you will see later that I've tried many methods, but I just ended up wrapping them around like a pen and just like holding it there so it would hold its shape.
We cut out diamonds.
So by diamonds, I'm referring to these blue accent things that Venti has on his hat. And that's what I'm cutting out right now.
This is not big enough.
And finally, for the last piece that I need to cut out, was the band around Venti's hat, like the front of it. And that was all day 1 of making Venti's hat. So you may have noticed that I'm really bad at angling on the camera, and that's because I don't have a tripod. And this is what happened. I do fix it eventually, but oh, here, I fixed it. And so here's me sewing all the pieces together, which I ended up having to redo because I sewed one of the pieces the wrong way, facing out, which meant the words that were originally on the shirt was facing outside. I did fix that in the end, and I also realized that I made the head hole a little too big. So I chose to experiment with an elastic, which I did end up taking out because it didn't look right. And so I basically had to redo everything. Yeah, so I gave up for a little bit on the hat and just decided to focus on making the flower on its hat. So to attach the petals together, I chose to sew it with a needle and thread. I'm not sure why, I chose to do this and not hot glue the pieces together. But I think it's turned out alright. And like I mentioned, I struggled making the foam keep its shape. Here's me trying to use a hairdryer to melt the foam in place. I also made a huge mess on my desk because of it. Though I did eventually get it to somewhat keep its shape. So I didn't want to put too much detail on the flowers and leaves, and so I just painted the flower part white and the leaves green. Though, as you can see, my green kind of dried up, and so I had to put water in it. But even with the water, it wasn't the right green, and so I ended up having to mix up a batch of paint anyway. So I guess that makes up for the lack of detail in my flower. Another snack time. This one is pineapple, I think. One is lotus, one is pineapple. I don't know which one's which. So this is the third day of me making Venti's hat. I believe this was the last day, but it was also the day that I grinded to finish this hat because it was the end of my weekend and I had a 9 a.m. the next day. So this was really where I struggled with making sure the white floral parts fit onto the hat well. I was also having trouble with my sewing machine where the like understitch, like you have to put a bobbin on the bottom of your sewing machine. Yeah, that, I don't know why it kept like clogging, I guess, and so I had to redo a lot of my parts. But I did eventually figure it out, and to save you guys the time of watching my time lapse, it took me half an hour to figure it out. So you may see this little fold at the edge of my hat. So that was not intentional, but it did come in handy because it helps a lot with making sure there was that little edge that flipped over in the front of Venti's hat. So I finally got the white part or the floral part of Venti's hat on, and I also got the overall structure of his hat figured out. And here's just me fooling around with the flap part of his hat. So now that I was happy with the fabric part of Venti's hat, I started to add on the little details and accessories onto his hat. And so here I'm finishing up with making the rim of Venti's hat, and that is part 1. Please come back for part 2 when it is out. Bye!